In the oldest part of the desert, where maps stop naming places and the wind buries history like a secret, a team of explorers found something that shouldn't exist anymore. A staircase. Not a ruin. Not a broken wall. A perfect staircase, carved into black stone, leading down into the sand. No markings. No signs. Just silence. The kind of silence that makes you feel like you're being watched. The leader of the expedition, a man named Adrian, wasn't the type to believe in curses. He believed in evidence. He believed in ancient architecture. He believed that everything had an explanation. But he also believed one thing. If something is hidden this deep, it was meant to stay hidden. Still, curiosity is a powerful disease. They cleared the sand. They placed ropes and lights. And one by one, they descended. The air changed immediately. Above the surface, it was hot and dry. But down here it was cold. Not like underground cold. Like something had been waiting without breathing for centuries. As the team walked down, their footsteps echoed too perfectly, like the staircase was repeating every movement, memorizing them. At the bottom, they reached a door. A single slab of stone taller than any man. On it was one symbol carved into the rock, an eye with no pupil. And beneath it, a line written in a language none of them recognized. Adrian raised his camera, took a photo, and his assistant smiled nervously. Probably just decoration, she said. But even she didn't believe that. They pushed the door. It didn't move. They tried tools. Nothing. Then Adrian did the stupidest thing a human can do in front of the unknown. He touched the eye symbol. The moment his fingers met the carving, the door made a sound. Not a crack, not a grind. A deep, slow breath. Like the crypt was alive. And then it opened. Inside was a hall that looked impossibly clean. No dust. No broken stones. No signs of decay. Tall pillars lined the path, and every pillar had the same symbol, the eyeless eye. Their lights moved forward and revealed the center of the hall. A statue. A massive stone figure kneeling with its head lowered, hands resting on a sword buried into the ground. It looked like a guardian, but not the kind you build to honor something. The kind you build to warn people away. Someone whispered, "That's huge." Adrian stepped closer, and as soon as he did, his chest tightened. Because he felt it. A pressure in the air, like the room disliked being disturbed. They walked around the statue carefully. They searched walls for treasure marks. They scanned the ground for traps. Everything felt too perfect, too prepared. And then Adrian's assistant noticed something on the floor. Footprints. Fresh footprints. Everyone froze. "How is that possible?" she whispered. This place was buried. Adrian stared at the footprints. They weren't their own. They led deeper into the crypt, meaning someone had entered before them. Recently. The team continued, now less excited and more afraid. They reached a second chamber, larger than the first. In the center was a coffin. Not wood. Not gold. Black stone, smooth like a mirror. And on the lid, a single sentence carved into it in perfect English. "Do not wake the guardian." Nobody spoke, because that message wasn't ancient. English wasn't carved here centuries ago. That message was placed for modern eyes, which meant one thing. Someone came here and wanted nobody else to go further. Adrian's voice shook slightly as he spoke. "This is staged," he said. He didn't even believe himself. He reached for the coffin lid anyway, because curiosity doesn't care about warnings. It only cares about answers. They lifted the lid slowly. Inside the coffin, there was no body, no bones, no treasure, only a small stone tablet and a metal key. Adrian picked up the key. It was warm. That didn't make sense. Metal should be cold underground. He turned the tablet over and saw the same eyeless eye symbol, but cracked, like someone tried to break it. Then he heard it. A sound behind him. Not footsteps. A stone grinding, slowly. They all turned. The guardian statue in the first hall was moving. Its head, once bowed, was now lifted slightly. Not fully. Just enough. Like it had heard its name. Everyone backed away in panic. Adrian whispered, "No, no, it's not possible." Then the lights flickered, and the temperature dropped again. This time, it wasn't cold. It was death. A voice filled the crypt, not loud, but deep enough to vibrate bones. Who enters? Must be Wade. The team froze. Adrian's assistant started crying. Adrian held the key in his hand and realized the truth. This wasn't a tomb. This wasn't a treasure site. This was a test. A judge built out of stone and curse. The Guardian didn't protect treasure. It protected something worse. A sealed entity, a presence, something that should never meet daylight. The Guardian's eyes lit up with faint blue fire. It stood fully now, towering above them, sword still planted in the ground like it was part of the earth. The voice spoke again. The Silent One speaks only once. And then the Guardian turned its head toward Adrian. It didn't attack. It stared, like it was reading his life. Then the Guardian slowly raised one hand and pointed at Adrian's chest. The blue light reached into him like cold fingers. And suddenly Adrian saw visions. Not dreams. Memories that weren't his. He saw the crypt being built. He saw ancient priests dragging something alive into the darkness. He saw a creature made of shadow and hunger sealed behind the halls. And finally, he saw a future vision. The crypt open, the Guardian broken, the shadow escaping, and the world drowning in darkness. Adrian screamed and fell to the ground. His team tried to help him, but the Guardian lifted its sword slightly, warning them to stay back. Adrian gasped for air. He looked up at the Guardian and shouted, "What do you want?" The Guardian didn't answer with words. It answered with a single feeling inside Adrian's mind. Prove you are worthy to leave. The key in Adrian's hand felt heavier. He understood. The key wasn't to open something. The key was to seal something again, to restore the lock. Because someone had already weakened the crypt. Those footprints weren't from a human. They were from a mistake. Adrian stood up slowly, hands shaking. He walked toward the Guardian. Everyone screamed for him to stop. But Adrian kept walking, because he realized something terrible. If he didn't fix the seal now, this crypt would eventually open by itself. And when it did, it would bring the darkness with it. Adrian held the key up to the Guardian. The Guardian leaned closer, and Adrian spoke, voice trembling but firm. "I came for answers, but I choose to leave with responsibility." The Guardian's eyes glowed brighter. The air vibrated, and the Guardian slowly opened its palm. Inside its stone hand was a crack, a broken slot, waiting for the key. Adrian placed the key inside. The moment it locked in, the entire crypt shook. The pillars glowed. The coffin lid sealed itself shut. The eyeless eye symbols lit up like stars. The Guardian lowered its sword again. And then, it slowly knelt back down. Silence returned. The blue light faded. Adrian fell to his knees, breathing like he survived the end of the world. The door behind them opened automatically. The team ran out, not looking back. They climbed the staircase into the desert sunlight. And when they turned around, the staircase was gone. Only sand. Only wind. Only silence. Adrian stood there, shaking. Because he knew they didn't discover a crypt. They survived a warning. And that night, in his tent, Adrian opened his notebook to write everything down. But his page was already filled with a sentence he didn't write. The Guardian does not sleep forever.